Evening all, and welcome to episode 62 of Season 8 of Factory Town, where we have a problem. You may notice we've got a small line of trains parked along here, going around, and getting stuck here. Yeah. Now these trains are after nails and iron plates and steam pipes and nails and iron plates, and there's not enough there. There's only enough space for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trains, and we've got 6. So yeah. Now I wish there was a way sort of around this. I wish there was a way to set this train loader to go, hey, if a train's been here for like a minute or 30 seconds or something, and let it go. There might be a way to do that with logic. Do we unlock? We didn't unlock the compute block yet, so I can't do that yet. Where's advanced? We could unlock advanced logistics and have a look at whether there's a way to do this, to actually have it set up so that it pings for every 30 seconds or so. I don't know if that's doable. I don't know. Let's unlock advanced logistics. We've got 28,000 research points, so we're okay. Let's unlock these, and we'll have a play with some of these here. Now, some of these are new. Oh, we've also got level 3. That's cool. Like the trigger. Well, I say some of them are new. Some of them have got new symbols, which make them look new to me, but we'll see. And I have been known to go a little over the top when it comes to logic. There are some very complicated things you can do with it for no reason. Right. Let me show you. Let me show you what's new. First and foremost, we're not gonna do this. We're gonna do something else. We're gonna do the cause of this problem. The cause of this problem is that that's not getting enough this one here is not getting enough iron ore in order to create the goods that's needed there. So we needed more iron ore, which I think was just another iron ore train. But I think the issue with the iron ore was that it wasn't getting the iron ore, so it wasn't getting the coal. This is all slowed right down here. It wasn't getting the coal, and the reason for that is because if we go underground, go to our mining layer, this is all the coal that these coal mines have access to currently. So yeah, it just wasn't going to work. It just simply wasn't going to work for us. This one, I think this coal mine here had completely run out and stopped working. So I'm going to change this up. For one, we're going to move this around. And my reason to move it around is just to spread out the load a little bit. And then we're going to do this. Like that. And then we're going to go underground, and we are going to connect up with our mine shafts, because we can do that, because we have things. Now, mine shafts, the recipe for this has changed as well. It used to be just pickaxes, but it now requires pickaxe, a rail, and a reinforced wooden plank. So yeah, mine shafts have become expensive, but they are pretty well powered. So pretty they're worth it. They're worth it. Now if we do this, and then that, doop, there. You'll notice with the mine shafts, you only need to touch the mine shafts. Grab everything one tile away from them. So if I put one there, gets that. Put one here, gets that one. That covers all of them. And mine shafts can share between mines. So if we now go back up to the surface, this one, it doesn't tell you how many it's connected to, unfortunately. But it is, you see, we click here, see, it's connected to all these mine shafts. This is connected to all these mine shafts. So they share, and everyone is highlighted when we go underneath here. So they're all going to get access to all the coal underneath here, which is going to help us. Going to help us a lot, because that means that these can actually mine the coal up. This can fuel up. This can get more coal. And basically, I left the camera here. I left the game running, and I noticed that the coal train parked up here. 2 iron trains came behind it, and then it went off. Then another coal train came along here, and then the whole thing started backing up. So that's the problem. I think our iron trains are in this queue somewhere. So we need to remedy that. Now, the quickest way to remedy this would just to be added more parking, which is completely doable. We could add another lane on here. That's the simplest. The simplest fix is to just move this train off. We'll break this here, and we'll say you come down here, go back, come up here, and join that, and there we go. And that would be the simplest way to fix it, and that's not a problem. Not a problem at all. But then what if we add more trains later? It would become a problem again. It would be an issue, be a serious issue. So let's have a look see in logic very quickly, because I don't want to get bogged down in logic too much, because I know I can get very bogged down in this, trying to figure out things, and yeah. So what I know with this is that if we grab an agent trigger, we grab a ball function, and we want to grab a timer. No, a toggle. Sorry, a toggle and a timer. It's been a while. It's been a while since and I wasn't planning to do this, so I'm not prepared for this. I'm doing this on the fly. So we'll see how it goes. So the easiest way I know how to do this is an agent trigger. Whenever an agent, which is a train, a wagon, any one of these goes over the top of it. It probably works with cargo ships. It won't work with airships, because airships are in the air. Though you might be able to get it to work with airships if you put it in the air. I don't know. But if any of these walk over the top of it, it will trigger, hey, I've had someone walk over it. It also works with any of these. I think it works with box carts, tank cars, and hopper carts, but it won't trigger if there's a locomotive at the beginning. The agent is considered the locomotive. The rest of the carts won't trigger the agent trigger. So we get an agent trigger, and the agent trigger will trigger when an agent travels over top of it, and it will pass information about the agent off to whatever blocks wants to go. So it will tell you what it is, what's inside it, so on and so forth. Now, what we want to do with this is very simple. Go, there you go. You can filter what it's there. So you can use the airship. Awesome. So you can filter what you want to trigger there with it. So what we want to do is we want to basically say, hey, when a train drives over this, we want to trigger a timer. Right here, a timer, which is simple enough. So we could move the agent trigger to the rail there, and when a train drives over it, it will trigger it. Or you can use the offset to choose a block. And it will do the exact same thing. See there, it's got the offset now set to there, so I don't actually know how to reset. There we go. Right. So if we was to put the agent trigger underneath that train, when a train drives it, it won't go now because there's a train there, but when a train hits it, it will trigger. We then want to click on this and right click on our logic, and the right click to connect a logic link. So I'm going to right click on the timer, and I'm going to go I want to say start timer, set timer duration. Oh yeah. Right. So we want to right click on that, and we want to go start timer. Boom, there you go. So when this agent triggers off, it will start the timer. So we want to set the timer to how long we want the train to wait for. So I'm going to say 30 seconds. Okay. And we can move this as well. So there, so it remembers the link. If you move them, they stay linked. We are then going to say this one. Now, this is going to be repeat is off, so it doesn't repeat. You could have it just every 30 seconds trigger and do what it wants to do, but we're going to have repeat off. And then we're going to go and we want to set a value of 0. Now, a 0 value means off and a 1 value means on, but you can have that set to change other numbers in logic blocks. Again, I'm not going too deep into this here. I need to do a refresher myself on logic blocks, so I said I'm doing this kind of on the fly. So if we right click on this here and we go set active state, it will pass through its value to this. Now 0 means off, switch off. So after 30 seconds, it will trigger this train station, this train loader, to switch off. Which is fine. We don't need the toggle. Which is fine. That's exactly what we want to do. But we also want to switch it back on again because, well, what if another train comes by? Well, we'll grab a second timer. We'll set this to 1 duration. And we will have this timer, right click to here, and go start timer. So now, the agent trigger will trigger this timer, and it will start counting for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, it will turn off the train loader, and it will trigger this timer. And then 1 second later, we want to have this one go to the train loader and set active state, but we want its value to be 1. So that means on. So what should happen is, train hits this, the timer starts. It parks up here. It waits for 30 seconds, and then at 30 second marks, this turns the train loader off and starts this timer. 1 second later, this timer turns the train loader back on again. If another train comes by and hits this agent trigger, it should restart the timer every single time. So it will only go for 30 seconds and then fire. Then another train comes along, it will do it. So if a train comes along, sets the timer off 30 seconds, fills up and then drives straight off, and another train comes along, it will reset the time to 30 seconds. To my understanding. I hope so. So, let's give this a try. And we can do this quite easily. So, this is after iron plates. This has enough iron plates in it, so it will work. If we move this train back here, there's space now for these trains here. We don't need the logic because we've now expanded it with trains, but I want to just build the logic here so we've got it in case it's required in the future. So, let's unpause the game and see what happens here. I'm going to have this one selected here. Oof, there we go. Timer is running. See? It's off again. Boom. Blue. And it's firing. See it firing every time? See it triggering every time? So it's resetting the timer, which means it's not fired off yet to do it. So now we are on nails, and we can't get no nails because we have no nails, which is fine. So we'll wait 30 seconds. And if the train hasn't moved in 30 seconds and no one has re-triggered this within 30 seconds, it should fire, switch it off. There you go, boom. That's 1 second later, switch it back on again, and away we go. Now this one grabbed it. Now this one's going to come down here and it's going to stop. Now, interestingly, this rail train started because obviously we turned it off and on again, so that means it reset logic. Remember, it was stuck here for a moment. There we go. So now it's stopped again. So a maximum length of time that a train can wait here now is determined by this timer. If a train is still here after 30 seconds, it will trigger to turn it off and back on again. If there's no trains here, if there's no trains parking whatsoever to do as well, then yeah, after 30 seconds it will turn off and back on again. But that doesn't matter because there's no trains there, so it's a sort of a redundant thing. Boom, there we go. Yeah, that triggered straight through because this was full. So it carried on. That timer is technically going. That train will trigger the timer. This train will fill up with nothing because it's got no nails. But after 30 seconds, it will go. So that's a very simple, you can wait a certain amount of time and then go again. It's just remembering that the set value here of 0 means off, and the set value here of 1 means on. again. So waiting for 30 seconds. Boom, off. 1 second later, on. And I could set this trigger to be lower. We could set the duration to be like 0.1 seconds or something like that. But I think a second's long enough. Even if there's another train behind this, it will take them more than a second to drive up from 4 carriages up to there. So. And that works. That'll work wonderfully. Now, one thing I do want to do, I'm going to pause the game again for a second, and we're going to go grab another iron plate scroll. Let's grab the iron plate train. Because right now there's no other trains coming because, well, they were all stuck, so there's no other trains coming right now. If I put this iron plate train down here, oh, that's the wrong one. If I put it in the correct place, which is here. This iron plate train will do that and it will drive off. Now there's no other trains here to re-trigger this. So after 30 seconds, yep, this will fire. It will turn the train loader off for a second and then turn it back on again. There is a very small chance that this will actually trigger at exactly the right time a train comes in here and the train will miss it because it's disabled and go through. But the chances are very slim. It's 1 second in 5 minutes that it will happen. And then it's even less than that because it has to have been triggered by a previous train anyway. So, yeah, there is a potential that a train will skip by here, but it will happen once in, I don't know, what, 100 trains? Something I don't know what the actual, I don't even know how to figure that out, but I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. The chances of it actually happening are extremely slim, so yeah, we'll not worry about it. Yeah, so that will then prevent what just happened from happening again. We're going. I happen to jump back up because we have deliveries going on. I would say it's kind of a good thing that everything stopped because it had time for everything to pick up, but it hasn't because the trains haven't been driving around, so lots of stuff hasn't actually been able to fill up in places. Some has, many has, but yeah. And here come the whole party of trains again, doing their thing. And I just remember that if we potentially have somewhere that has 6 trains, like here might have 6 trains, can't remember. We might have to add the logic to it again. I don't know. But hopefully that logic is never actually needed to push a train on. We should, now we've got enough iron and coal and everything going on, we should be able to have that go all the time. It's just a bit of a redundance there. And it is redundant now because we extended the line, so do you know what? I'm actually going to remove this again. Put it back to the old way. And then if it backs up again, everything goes wrong, we know this didn't work. So, yeah. But it will. It'll do its thing. It'll be fine. It'll be happy. Yeah. Very simple timer. Just hold train for so long. You can do this with anything else that has, obviously, the train loader. If it doesn't have the hold until full system, so it won't be holding the car here for long, you can potentially do this with a barrier gate. You can have a gate set up across the train track. Oh, we have a gate set up there across the train track, and that would stop a train on here. Because it stopped on the loader, it would continue to load. Then after 30 seconds, you'd open the gate for 1 second, then close it again. It will let the train through. You don't have to worry about the barrier gate closing on the carriages. It can't stop carriages. It will only stop the locomotive. Unless one of the box cars is on its own, then of course it will stop it. But essentially, if you have a train with carriages behind it, as long as you let the locomotive through, doesn't matter what happens behind them, they will just catch up. So you could do that as well. You could put a barrier gate in there and have these timers linked to a barrier gate instead to, say closed, and then after 30 seconds, open for a second, and then close again. You would just have to switch this around to be this one open, this one closed. That would work. Work for minecarts. Work for potentially wagons and things, although you'd have to corral them into a line because wagons will try and repath. Like if you put a barrier gate here, a wagon would just path around it. So you'd have to actually run them into things. This sort of thing for logic is really good for rails. Logic is also very, very useful when it comes to grabbers and grabbing things out of machines and other bits and pieces. You can use logic to go, well, I mean, potentially we could have a system set up here going, hey, we no longer need any packed grain. This is full, so we can have a logic set up saying, read this station, it's full of packed grain, go all the way across the map here to where we're picking up our grain, and go, hey, don't pick up grain, just wait. Just wait. There's no point in you driving around the track and trying to drop grain off. We have no grain, we have no space for it. When we get space for it, we'll let our train out, we'll let it go, and we'll pick up the grain, and then once the grain's full up again, we'll stop it. You could do that if you want to, if you're concerned about fuel. I'm not particularly worried about fuel. I think we're fine for fuel. Yeah, I think we're okay for fuel. So I'm not particularly fussed about that. Yeah. Another really good thing you could use it for is if you had a siding for fuel for a train. You could check how much fuel is in the train and go, hey, if you're low on fuel, you have to come down here. If you're not, you carry on. That sort of thing. And again, if you've got places that have multiple places, like we've got iron plates being dropped off here, and we've got iron plates being dropped off elsewhere. So we could potentially have some logic set up here that reads the train that drives through and goes, hey, does the train have iron plate on it? If it does, how much iron plate have we got? If we've got enough, disable that for a second so the train doesn't come up here, because we don't need enough of it. You wouldn't want to disable it just based on iron plate, because you've got nails and wood as well, so you need to check that. But you can check with the agent trigger what is in the train. You can go, hey, I've got iron, and if my iron is, or if I've got iron and this iron is lower than that, then yes, we'll turn on the sorter. If not, we'll turn it off, wait a second, then turn it back on again, so the iron train drives through, and then a nail train doesn't. And of course, the agent trigger would only trigger on a train that has iron. So, very powerful, fairly complicated. There are people far smarter than me in the Discord server that throw logic out there. There are some people that do some fantastic logic things. So, that's a very simple timer there. But hopefully that's that works. If anyone has any train-related things you want to have a timer, I kind of wish these had a timer built in. You know, hold until full, and then we could add a 4 set amount of time. You know, hold until full or 30 seconds as passed, that sort of thing. But that's what the logic blocks are for. Anyway, wasn't planning for this episode to be logic. Sorry about that. Hopefully you don't mind. So we are now struggling for iron because this has stopped. And this has stopped because if we go underground, let's go underground, press G. All this iron has been used up. See, all these iron are small. Iron underground regenerates. It regenerates at a pickaxe at a yield of I think 50 is the default yield. Yeah, that's a different. Yeah. The default yield is 50. That's saying 200 because it's the first time it's shrunk down. Some of these are going to be saying the same sort of thing. But if you can supply them with pickaxes, you can just about see there, they get 400%, which means they will become 200. So, like that one was 200, yeah. So they will be 200, which is kind of worth it. Very worth it. But we don't have pickaxes in Lou yet, and also, this is not where our mine's going to be. Our mine's going to be up here. And there is a way you can grow ore. There isn't a way you can do it underground, but that's fine. So right now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to connect you up to all the iron ore that's here. If I can't do that because we have no pickaxes. That seems about right. I drag this out. So we've got 3%. We'll do that. There we go. So we've got access to some. Need to drag out some more to get more iron pickaxes. That's how it goes. Okay. So you've got iron. This is fine. You've got a bit of coal, but not as much coal as you'd like. You are pretty much full on coal. Everything is awesome. Everything is wonderful. Everything should be flowing quite nicely. Okay. So, what else can we research? Let's research all the other things that we can research with the industrial rail. We unlocked the advanced logistics. That's cool. We can unlock industrial tone volume 3. Let's do that. We can unlock mechanical rails. Let's do that. Something I'm not going to use. Not because they're bad, but because I have no use case for them. I should show you. Well, I can't show you what to do because we haven't built any. We might need to build some for something. It might be used in something, probably. But mechanical rails are... we're playing on a flat map, so it's very difficult to sort of show this, but if you are using minecarts, particularly, and you have a minecart going up a hill, along and down, like this. Oh, you've got a minecart on this one here. Let's put a minecart in. Mine... Can't. Oh. Take the minecart. Here you go. Whee! Goes down it goes. Around he goes. He slows down potentially, and then he's going to start coming up here, and he's going to travel uphill. Now, I thought minecarts couldn't do that. I thought minecarts couldn't travel uphill. There is a settings in the rules. Oh, minecarts use gravity is turned off. Ah. That's interesting. I thought that was turned on by default. Maybe it's not now. Anyway, if I turn that on, because that's what I thought the default setting was. Now minecarts use gravity. He will stop. He'll go into the closest block he can do, and he'll stop. He won't be able to travel any further. A mechanical rail requires mechanical power from a steam engine, and it can basically build a rail that pushes minecarts uphill. That's the whole purpose of a mechanical rail. We have no use for it here because one, we're on a giant flat map, so we don't need it, and two, we've got locomotives, and locomotives can go uphill anyway. So yeah. Also, as I said, it confuses me that setting is off, and it's blue, and it's black comes off, which means that's the default version of it. Maybe it might be a change that was added to this map. I don't know. I thought minecarts use gravity by default. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe they don't. But if you ever do trigger that and you have a minecart here, you need to come into it and just push the go button, get it going again. So yeah, so that means mechanical rails they have no use. They have no use whatsoever. They could speed up the minecarts going uphill. I suppose that's their use. I am confused by why they're still in the game. They might be used for something later on. They probably are used for some form of research or something later on. I don't know. What's the recipe for my industrial volume? Level 3 is rails. No, they're not used for that. Don't know what the point of mechanical rails is. They had a use case, and that was it for going uphill. If minecarts don't use gravity now, they won't do that anymore. So I don't know. If you know what the use of that is, do let me know, because I guess I'm missing something, or if that setting is different in your game by default, because I thought it was on by default, and I guess it's not. Don't know. Confused. Anyway, yeah, so mechanical rail has no use. So we want to get our natural knowledge tomes going, because that's what we need. We need to get some natural knowledge coming in. So we need to get this up, don't we? We need to get this working. So this has got refineries and fish oil, and it's not... We don't have any trains for it because we haven't built it. That's what I was going to do. That's what I was going to do this episode, and I'm very sorry. I've got completely distracted doing other things, which is kind of story of my life, really. So I guess what we'll do is next episode, now nothing is broken and I haven't discovered an issue with the game, not with the game, an issue with my game, because of trains. What I mean, it's not an issue with the game. It's yeah. Yes, this one. I'm like, why is that? Brain fail. Anyway, we'll do this one here. We'll come back next time. We'll carry on from there. And yeah, sorry this has been like a non-content episode, but hopefully that logic is useful to at least one person. Who knows? Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you again next time. Until then, as always, have fun.